Jeez and Pete's. Anyway, that's my gripe for 2023. I'm going into the positive mode for 2024. That Sanford and Son theme always reminds me of that. I play a little golf at Chateau. There's some hole on the back nine where literally there's, Joe, you got the little like 2-foot high concrete header. And then you got the concrete columns or brick columns every 10, 20 feet. And then that wrought iron in the middle. This dude pulled out the wrought iron section and has his boat backed up against it. Needed that extra 2 feet. So the motor and the 2 feet of the boat is sticking out. I'm thinking every time I tee off on that hole, this has to be some Chateau Golf Course Homeowners Association feud. I'll buzz down this wrought iron thing and back my boats. It's like 2 or 3 boats. I'm like, wow, $500,000 house. And 3 boats parked in the yard, backed into where you see them on the golf course. It's unreal. Wow. People are a trip. People are a trip. I always say that. You know what I want, Joe? I want a 911, a Porsche. Guess what? I really can't afford the oil change and the tires, hit a curb. What? $600 for a tire? So, waiting to get the 911 when have a little more wherewithal. Literally. If you can't afford the oil change of the tires, you don't buy the 911. That might be an original. Don't dine out if you're not going to tip. If you're, hey, $2, $1. This is a real mental battle. Let me contemplate this for 3 minutes. What do I do? An extra $1, $2, or no? That's 21%. That's 16%. Wow. Stay home. Stay home. Don't go. Do you know that beer? I could have bought a 12-pack. Yes. I know the beer at that bar. You could have bought a 12-pack at the. Don't go to that bar. Don't go to that bar. I was in some Buckhead bar, Joe, in North Atlanta. This is 20 years ago. I think there's 4 of us. My 2 buddies, and I think I got a Heineken or something like that. They were $16 each, something like that for the Heineken. I was like, holy smokes, whatever. Welcome to, I think we're in the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons in Buckhead, something like that. Yeah, our own fault. High rollers. Can we have a drink, please? And then the 4th guy we're with who had some wherewithal, he orders that little 1-inch whiskey. I'm not kidding you. I think it was $82 for that drink. And I was like, I got the first round. That's the only round I've got all night. You guys are paying for dinner, the rental car, the hotel room. Oh, wow. Anyway. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you're right. Joe, you saw where that Sanford and Son tune took me? Just right down that path. Yeah, the boat's in the backyard of the golf cart. Why are you parking the RV in the yard? You bastards! Fletcher Mackel's going to join us. It's going to be all right in about 9 minutes. How can we not lighten up? Fletcher Mackel's going to join us. Well, I was riding around on my electric bike, jumping the bridges in City Park. Got rid of the diesel Benz. 40 years old, It's 7 when that car was produced, Got a new car. It's an SUV type thing. Corey, I hate to admit it, Corey and I share the same mechanic, Don't really want any affiliation with him, Fletcher Mackel's going to join us in about 9 minutes on the program. In an hour and 9 minutes, around 5:20, that would be in the 5 o'clock power hour on this Fantasy Friday, heading from 2023 into 2024. Frank Brigstsen's going to join us. I love that segment. Fletcher Mackel segment, not so much. The Frank Brigstsen segment, I love it. All right, I like Fletcher segment too. But Frank Brigstsen James Beard award-winning chef, so humble, talking food, things that we love. I like good food. How about you? Frank Brigstsen's going to join us. Oh, boy. All right. Now I got it, Jeff. It's my fault. Sorry. Speaking of Brightson, speaking of food, I bet in the last few days you've had some Leidenheimer French bread. If you live in New Orleans and you dine out just a little bit, lunch, dinner, could be even breakfast, Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company has been at it in New Orleans since 1896. 1996 would be pretty cool. Seriously. 1996 would be a nice run. 1896. This is their third century. Over 125 years. Baking that French bread you love right here in the city, and they've been doing it ever since. It really is good to the last crumb. That po' boy you love, it's not an authentic New Orleans po' boy if it's not on Leidenheimer French bread. Period. End of story. It's not an official New Orleans po' boy if it's not on Leidenheimer French bread. Yeah, it's the official po' boy French bread of the city. It's got to be. High-end restaurants, any type of restaurant, middle end, little hole-in-the-wall place, has some little garlic bread or something on the menu, whatever. Sandwiches, it's going to be on Leidenheimer. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. No, if you just, on like a Friday, look back on the week, you will have enjoyed some Leidenheimer French bread a few times for me already. A full slate when Fletcher joins us, heading into the New Year weekend. Are you kidding me? New Year's Eve, New Year's Day in New Orleans, French Quarter, CBD, Bywater, Marigny, the Marigny Triangle, Frenchman Street, Oak Street, all these different spots around the city. It's as good as it gets. And it's organic, man. Hey, let's go create this. Welcome to Omaha. It's just naturally there. So for New Year's Eve, people that I like New Year's, I like to go to the party. I like midnight, fireworks, all that kind of thing. The drinks are a-flowing. New Orleans is a great spot for you. Saints at Bucks Sunday. Pels Lakers Sunday night at the Smoothie King Center. LeBron James is coming in town for New Year's. LSU, Wisconsin, Monday morning. Lots to discuss. Corey Johnson with you. Went with the family to Lebanon's Cafe last night for dinner. Absolutely outstanding, Lebanon's Cafe. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. 11 a.m. to 9:30 daily. Lebanon's Cafe. You won't be disappointed. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated, last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Yeah, you right. Or as they say in Kansas, yes, you are correct. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday, Fantasy Friday, 2023 heading out the door. 2024, it's coming no matter what. Hey, real quick, I want to remind you, I know it's holiday season. That could mean friends, family coming over to the house. You're pulling out the fine linens, the tablecloths, and the like. Young's Dry Cleaning, Young's Restoration Department, to be specific, can take care of those fine linens, those tablecloths, those napkins, get them perfectly clean, get them folded up nice, ready for the next big occasion. Young'sDryCleaning.com since 1940, heading into 84 years of excellence. Young'sDryCleaning.com. Fletcher Mackel joins us. That's what the sheet says. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Mackel?
It's close enough. It's like, is your name Corey? It's close enough.
Yeah, who am I to butcher anyone's name? Kaare. That touche. I was going to go into I'm going to stay on this theme. What the hell? Okay, Mackel. What do you do, Fletcher? It says here on the sheet you're with WDSU. I'm assuming what's that? The ABC television affiliate in town or something like that? Fox?
Yeah, something along those lines. I will say this. I do love, the fact that you've been here so long. And, I'm a born and raised New Orleanian like you, so I mean this in a nice kind of positive way. when people like, like you hear like, people that have lived here a long time, from certain areas of, New Orleans, and it's like, yeah, Kaare, and so I really like it when your name is pronounced with a hard, like Cory.
Now, I'll tell you a funny one. This is as yatty as it gets, Fletch. You'll appreciate this. My brother's in town, lives in London with his wife and kids. He's an actor. He's been doing it like 30 years. Anyway, my brother John is named after my Uncle John. That's my dad's brother, Uncle John. And there's no way we'd be like, hey, look, everyone, it's Uncle John. It's Uncle John, like Jawn, and my brother John, which we would never say, hey, John, is named after him. So that's pretty yatty, huh?
Yeah. So Scott Walker, who obviously is, the council president, I think is his title now in Jefferson Parish, the councilman at large, who I think is the council president, was obviously an anchor at our television station for, a decade. Great guy. And he has one of those kind of like the different era of, he's like the old school television anchor man, like amazing voice. His dad was a longtime radio person, good voice. And, he does a great job of like impersonations, accents. He's got one of these voices that's just amazing. And, he does a great, like, New Orleans kind of yat, like, especially with my brother and I. He goes, I always love, like, you can tell the people who are from New Orleans when they're like, Fletcher, Travis. And he goes, that's still my favorite. He goes, they give, the ER goes away and becomes an A, and your brother becomes Travis. And so that still makes me laugh. So when he sees us sometimes, he still comes up with the accent, and he's like, Fletcher, Travis. And so it still makes me laugh.
Yeah, those cats still exist. They just got to find them in parts of the city, the suburbs. They're out there still. You got to find those guys. I was talking because we were having the Uncle John brother named after Uncle John discussion. And S-U-R-E, that word, S-U-R-E, is a good barometer. We say, I'm pretty sure the boat's going to hit the shore. And I think in about 99% of America, they'd say, I'm pretty sure the boat's going to hit the shore. Like two different sounding words. And we say shore like we say the seashore. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we can keep talking about dialect as long. I guess this is my penance. Since last week I was flying back from Los Angeles and couldn't be on your show on a Friday afternoon. Is this my penance for, like, we're talking about regional dialect? Like, Joe, is this what you deal with all the time? Like just these calls that drift into the abyss?
Yes.
We had this weird deal last Friday. Nielsen Arbitron called and like, we've never seen an incredible spike in listenership at 420. And you weren't there. It was just weird.
True.
Oh, boy. We love Fletch. That's why we get him on every week, because he actually does sports. Now, Fletch, I was about to blame this all on you. A couple of weeks ago, Fletch comes on. He's like, hey, I was riding my electric bike, jumping the bridges in City Park, and I got rid of the old Mercedes. And I want to talk about John Sumrall. I'm like, what about John Sumrall? You're like, dude, this bike can go 40 miles on one charge. I'm like, great, dude. John Sumrall, the new two-lane catch. Yeah, the old diesel Benz, it's gone. I'm like, wow. We didn't talk about John Sumrall at all.
I would like to say that I give this show like layers and a lot more like context, for life and sports and things like that. Talking about electric bikes and vintage Mercedes and sports as well. I mean, I would say that this is, a full service interview. Like just now, we just did like a regional dialect segment, and now we can move on to whatever you would like, specifically probably, the Saints being woefully mediocre or whatever else.
Joe, Fletch led into that with, I give this show, and I thought he was going to say 3 weeks. Oh, boy. Hey, let's work backwards. I mean, because we did miss it 2 weeks ago, all kidding aside, a couple of topics, and I want you'll go off anyway, just two kind of thoughts. I love the John Sumrall.
Wait, hold on real quick. can I before we do sports? I know it's your show, but you just mentioned Joe. I know we usually take a break. Can I tell a quick story real quick?
Of course.
So Joe obviously has been in radio forever. Okay, I know comedian, radio, like Renaissance man, if you will. So like 15 years ago, it's got to be 15 years ago. I still steal Joe Cardosi's material. So thank you, Joe. I still make this joke. So Joe was doing like radio at a place in the French Quarter. I think you were at this place too, Corey. It's like a building in the French Quarter, and y'all did your shows out of there. And I had agreed to help fill in with Brian Alley Walsh, the former, newspaper guy who had a radio show, on his show for like a week when he was off. It was like at 6 a.m. I had to get there like at 5:30, 5:45, which for like somebody who works in TV at night is just like an absurd time frame for me. And so I remember going to the French Quarter, and Joe was there every morning. And I said, I can't believe it. I'm passing Checkpoint Charlie's at like 5:30 a.m. and it says like live music 24/7, and there's still people there. And Joe Cardosi goes, yeah, dude. But at this time, that's just some drunk with a kazoo on stage. That's not like real live music. So like literally, I still use that line, Joe. Since you're here and we've referenced you a couple of times, I felt like I needed to tell that story. So thank you, because like, if tourists are in or other media are in and they're like, oh my God, it says they've got music playing until the wee hours. I'm like, yeah. But that's just some drunk with a kazoo on stage at 3 a.m. So it's the joke that still gives to this day, Joe. So thank you.
And he's still on stage, by the way, that same kazoo guy.
Now I'm done, Corey. I'm sorry for hijacking your show with
That's
that.
all right. I gave Joe 2 jokes to use. I don't know if he's used either one in stand-up. One is just very vulgar, and he thinks it has some potential. And then the other one, Joe just sort of stared at me. I said, Joe, you're kind of going with this Norm Macdonald intellectual. Look, you have to set it up, how many stars there are and universes and all this, and got to be, alien life somewhere else. And then you kind of going like, yet we call our moon the moon, and we call our sun the sun, like the common name instead of having a proper name for them like we do all the other planets. That's the joke. He just stared at me. Do you have any wonder why? You wondering why?
Yeah, no.
Anyway, that's the joke. Us humans, we're really cocky and confident and calling the sun, and the moon. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, the guy in the back's clapping. There's only one guy in the whole room. Thank you.
Are we almost close to the first break, and then we can get back, or do you want to tell another quick story?
All right, yeah, knock it out. We got time.
All right, so here's the thing. So
might as well end the year on a down note. Yes, go on.
Yeah. So this was another Joe. I think it was Joe. It could have been another local comedian. I know Joe told me the kazoo joke that I still use. So Arthur Hardy, who's a wonderful man, the Mardi Gras guy. He was at our station for a long time. He's at another station now. But I love Arthur Hardy. He's involved with Warren Easton High School. My dad's in the Warren Easton Hall of Fame. He was instrumental in that. I love Arthur Hardy. But I went to one of the comedy shows, and I forgot if it was Joe or somebody else. And they saw my brother and I were there. And this is when Arthur Hardy was at WDSU. And they're like, the Mackel twins are here. They work with Arthur Hardy. And he goes, tell you what, man. He goes, Arthur Hardy's Mardi Gras guy. He goes, every year, everybody buys it. And he goes, it just blows my mind. He goes, Arthur gives us such amazing intel. He goes, Zulu's going to run before Rex. I didn't know that. He goes, like Endymions in mid-city. And he goes, and he went on this big tangent. And I mean, it's one of those kind of like, like the comedian that does kind of like, what do you call it? Like, situational kind of life stuff. But it is true. I love Arthur, and he finds new, unique ways. But in the grand scheme of things, like some of these parades have been rolling in the same area. And he goes, what is the Mardi Gras guide? And it still makes, again, it's one of those ones. And I don't know if that was you, Joe, or somebody else.
I think that was old Cassidy Hinahan, another old school New Orleanian.
That's hysterical. I still like my sun and moon joke. Coming right back.
Changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you. We promised the FCC. They called us during the break. You're going to do some real radio. That was what they asked us. What do you think of that, Fletch?
Whatever, Corey. It's your show. I feel like I've hijacked your show enough, so now I'm just along for the ride, and I am just going to take a back seat and let you take command of your show after all my Joe Cardosi stories that I just told.
I don't think you hijacked the show at all. And this is me saying this. Fletcher Mackel, are you saying you talk a lot?
I know. I realized we were going to commercial break, and I was trying to finish up the observational humor of the Mardi Gras guide and all that stuff. Yeah.
Now I'll tell you somebody I think you're gonna maybe think not true for about a second, and then you're gonna concur with me. This guy talks more than both of us, like on a golf course, or you know who it is?
Who's that?
Brett Martell.
He's very chill. And so he's like the thinking man's talker, because what he's saying comes with some tremendous insight and analogy and the vocabulary. I need to Google some words sometimes, but you are right. He is a great talker and a great storyteller, but he is methodical in how he does it.
No, yeah, you're right. He's not like, look at the leaf rolling across the grass. He's got, no, there's usually some thought behind it. And if he was talking about that, he would probably be telling us, some physics thing or something. You're right. Anyway,
yeah,
I like playing a little golf with Brett. Plus, he got me walking. He walks. Brett's a good athlete, baseball player, skier. He's like you. Played a little baseball. He's a really good skier. He's very good on the motorcycle. And he said something about, I was like, well, motorcycles are scary and people could hit you. And Brett's like a natural on it. Like I would get on a motorcycle, I'm riding it. Brett can kind of maneuver it and avoid things and stuff like that. He's a pretty good athlete. You're a pretty good athlete, I hate to admit.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm still a good athlete, but I don't think I am a horrible athlete.
You're in the super low percentage, like probably, I'd say under 5% of 57, 58-year-olds that still play in these over-the-hill sports leagues. You're like 1 in 20 people, I would think, in the 5 percentile. It might be like 3%. I think very few men that are your age, AARP, play in those sports leagues like you still do. Plus, you're pitching, you're throwing the ball hard.
It's true, but you got my age off by about a decade. But yeah,
67. Holy smokes, you look pretty damn good. Sorta.
So
now, seriously, on the pitching thing, you're not worried about rotator cuff or hurting your arm?
You know what? I am, because so like Jim Moore is 88 and he still does stuff with us, and he had shoulder replacement surgery.
Wow.
I like my shoulder does hurt, and I know this probably isn't great for it. So yeah, I am a little concerned about that. That I still go out there in my late 40s now and try to pitch and do this, and it's probably not great for my long-term rotator cuff health. But but I still do it.
Yeah, I hurt my rotator cuff. And, 20 years ago, and walking the dog the other day, about a month ago, Paul and Henry, a couple of kids down the street, some Carrollton, booster kids, they're out there throwing the football in the yard. And I stop and I fling like 10 little passes, not warming up, just haven't thrown a football in 5 or 10 years. And, like 3 days later, I was like, shouldn't have thrown that football. I'm serious.
Yeah,
I could feel it in the old rotator front moving in over.
The one thing I do is I do try to keep my arm in shape. Like when I play in this little over 35 baseball league, knowing I'm going to pitch, and throw the ball.
I try to keep my arm in shape. That's so open for great jokes that I just don't go towards on my radio program.
I don't roll out cold and then just do it. I do, I maybe my 20s or even my 30s, I could probably do that and get away with it.
Exactly.
But now I can't, like, that's where people run into issues, is doing what you're doing. Like no warm-ups, no stretches, no nothing, just get it and cut loose. And that's where the issues come. So like, I do try to do these arm exercises and these stretches and actually go in play catch and get my arm in shape and try to do it where I'm not going to hurt myself. I'll be sore as hell, but I'm not going to be injured.
Fletch, I didn't hear it, but I felt it. Some Green Wave fan. Jeez, talk about John Sumrall already. I just felt that.
Yeah, I feel like I thought the first block was for kind of the BS, and I guess I'm sticking around now for a third segment now, unfortunately. So,
Yes.
So, but again, it's your show. I'm just here for you, Corey.
We're looking at it this way. Like the 4 o'clock hour is kind of like, let's get rid of 2023, the garbage, to put it out. And then 5 o'clock hours, looking forward to 2024. Frank Brigstsen, a real honorable guest, is going to join us. That's our route today.
I mean, there you go. And with Frank Brigstsen, I mean, look, his restaurant is, for me, one of the greats in New Orleans. And I mean, every time I go, I don't think you can ever, I've never gone there and not had a meal, not like a meal that's good, but like every time you go there, you're just like, damn, man, that was like fantastic.
Yeah.
And so
you're right.
You bring people there, you go there. It's just, you're right. That's a great way to end your 2023.
All right, Fletch, you get to go off for a little bit, and I know you will, but it's always good information because you're informed and you have a good opinion based off of facts and history and experience and what you know. I love the John Sumrall hire. I think like Tulane did as well as they could do. Point 2, if Willie Fritz sticks around, just the natural attrition of players that were leaving. Some, I think, would have entered the transfer portal just to go to a bigger program, Some were leaving because it's, eligibility or time to go on to the NFL. I don't think the wave would have been like last year's team, like this year's team was leading into the championship game. I think it would have been a little, 7-5 type thing and then rebuild and come back up. But I wish Willie Fritz was sticking around. On and on and on. But I think there would have been a drop. With Sumrall coming in, is the drop even more now? Not because of Sumrall, just because Fritz and some of those coaches sort of poaching players to Houston, the transfer portal maybe being accelerated, players going to the NFL, just the change in scenery. It seems like Tulane may drop down a little bit next year, and Sumrall needs to sort of rebuild a little bit, not reload. Hopefully still a winning season. What do you think?
So I'm going to take it in a much different direction than you.
Good.
I disagree completely. I think they're going to go completely in the opposite direction. And I think if Willie Fritz stayed, there would have been very little drop off. And I understand what people are saying. Pratt is statistically the greatest quarterback in the history of the program. He's going to the NFL draft. They're going to lose guys every year because of, graduation, departures for professional ranks or transfer portal. But last year after winning the Cotton Bowl, I mean, look, Michael Pratt was a name we heard for Notre Dame. We heard for Florida. And yet they kept him. What Jimmy Ordino and Michael Arata have done with that Fear the Wave initiative is some really good work.
Yep. Yeah. You talk about the NIL, the money to keep.
Yeah, the NIL deal.
Yep.
So John Sumrall got to Troy and immediately they were Sun Belt champs. This is a program in a league that is winnable. Texas San Antonio is good and they got a good coach. SMU is really good and they got a really good young coach. Tulane is good and they got a great young coach. To me, they're going to hit the portal. They're going to get a quarterback. They're losing guys yet to Houston. Willie Fritz is taking some of his guys.
And other places, but whatever, NFL draft, whatever.
But here's the thing. I don't look at them and say, boy, this is a setback year. This is a rebuild year. This is a catch your breath year. I disagree completely. I think getting John, maybe if you got a first-time coach, maybe if you got that's not what Tulane did. Tulane went out and got like the young up-and-coming star that had interviewed at Duke and Mississippi State that Power Fives are sniffing around.
Yep.
You don't go get that guy to say this is a 3 or 5 year rebuild, that this is a program. When Willie Fritz got here, that was coming off a 2-10 or a 3-9 season, and we are years away. Right now, this program, because of Willie Fritz, has culture, has players, has depth, has pedigree for the last couple of years. John Sumrall got a good situation, and John Sumrall is a really, really, really good young coach. So to me, if they are anything less than they have been the last couple of years, and that's setting the bar high, that's a letdown to me.
So you think next year Tulane's like a 9-3, 10-2 team?
Yes, and if they're not, then they, to me, and look, I like putting that kind of pressure on them. if they are not a 9-3 or 10-2 team next year, right there on even footing with SMU and UTSA, who are probably the two best teams in their conference with them, then I will feel like everybody should be let down, because that's what you hired John Summerall to continue the momentum that you have built the last 2 years. And so to me, if they're 7-5 next year, it's a letdown. Like they need to go into the portal and get a good quarterback. They need to continue to recruit well and bolster their ranks through the portal. But I still think they're good. I still think they have good players that are staying around. And I think that John Summerall is good enough to say, hey, I did it at Troy. I can do it and get us into the fact that he can dangle the playoffs next year at kids and say, we were in the championship game last year.
Yeah.
You come here.
Hang on. Hold that thought. We'll come back and finish up with that Tulane talk in a second. Fletcher Mackel's with us.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward.
for more than 125 years. Portnola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Are you beelining across the causeway right now, heading to the North Shore? I got a phone number for you. What a great way to head into Friday night and the weekend. Walking into the house with a big to-go order from Trey Yen. You want that phone number? 985. You know the North Shore area code. 626-4476. 626-4476. That's Trey Yen in Mandeville. It's not Chinese food, it's Chinese cuisine. It's so good. I love Trey Yen in Mandeville. You will too if you've never been. Some of the best Chinese food in America right here in Metro New Orleans, Trey Yen in Mandeville. Fletcher Mackel is with us from Channel 6 Sports. Fletch, you were talking about John Sumrall, and you expect Tulane to kind of not miss a beat. Explain the big loss to Virginia Tech. I mean, you would have to bring in about a half dozen, 8 new players, including like a QB. No? Yes?
100%. Absolutely. And I do think that the last 2 seasons, what they were able to build and sustain, unfortunately, Willie leaving, Pratt not playing, letting injuries heal, getting ready for the draft, a ton of players entering the portal, and playing a Virginia Tech team that is trying to build to next year with their coach. It was a perfect storm of bad for them. I mean, 362 yards on the ground. They got carved up. This was a defense that had been so stout this year. Offensively, without Pratt and some of the playmakers, it never came together. The weather conditions were terrible. So I'm trying not to look at that and say, boy, let's look at that as the jumping off point. And that's the one thing about bowl games. You play great and rout a team in the bowl game. You can say, boy, we're heading into the off season on a high. You play poorly, and it's the opposite. The one thing I'll say about this is that officially closed the book on the Willie Fritz era, and the John Sumrall era starts right now. And my point being is that the foundation of this program is, I can't ever remember another coach, maybe except for Chris Selfo. And even with him, once Tommy Bowden left, Chris Selfo was taking over a program that had a mass exodus of players to the NFL and graduation, whereas John Sumrall is taking over a program that is on firm, solid footing in a really good place with more resources coming. And the fact that he has such a great reputation and has done some really good things in his 2 years at Troy, he can look at a kid in the portal and say, I got it done at Troy. I will get it done immediately at Tulane. We're going to be in the playoffs next year. That will resonate. That's not just take a leap of faith. It is, but it's more tangible because he's got credibility and because the program is on a good, solid, firm place right now. So I think they made this hire, and this isn't we need 3 to 5 years of John Sumrall to see John Sumrall. It's like, no. We hired John Sumrall because we want to be one of those 12 teams winning the American and playing Michigan or Texas or Bama or whoever next year in the playoffs.
Fletcher Mackel's with us. Hey, Fletch, 6 questions left. The first one is, I've got 5 questions and 2.5 minutes. Are we going to be able to get it all in?
Let's do rapid fire. I will tighten it up.
All right, tighten it up. It's got to be like 20-second answers. I don't know how you're going to do it.
I can do it.
Fletcher Mackel. Joe, do you think Fletcher can do 20-second answers on 5 separate questions?
I'll take that bet, but we'll see.
I think he's just going to go off on one, and we're not going to be able to stop him. All right, you ready, Fletch?
Go for it.
I like this Sugar Bowl. Washington bringing fans in from way over there, and then Texas, my God. It's perfect because Texas hasn't won anything in so long. They're going to spend a lot of money in the city, and it's a good game, right?
It's amazing for the city. It's going to be Austin East, but Washington has come to It's a great game. It's great for the city. I think Washington wins and pulls the upset.
Nice. Well, what about I'm cheating, adding a question. What about Alabama, Michigan? Who wins that?
I think Alabama wins that.
Wow. Who wins Washington, Alabama?
I think Bama may win the national
I know.
championship.
It's
They're just so
nauseating.
hot right now, and they're so good.
Shut up, Joe. Joe, oh, excited. Saints Bucks in the Dome on Sunday. Winner go home.
In Tampa.
I'm sorry, Saints, exactly. Saints at Bucks. My bad. Saints at Bucks, I meant. Winner go home, right?
Yeah, and I think the Bucks put the dagger in the Saints' heart.
Yeah, yikes. I mean, that's what would be what we've seen so far this season. That would be
look, they can
the
play
normal
great.
script.
Yeah, but the Bucks are playing for a lot. They win the division. They're red hot.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield's playing great. Their defense is playing great.
Yep.
If the Saints win, good. The last week will at least be somewhat meaningful, even though they're still not probably going to get into the playoffs. But I think this is it. The dagger goes into the heart on Sunday.
Big Sports Sunday. Check out the Saints at the Bucks at noon. And then the Pelicans in the Blenda hosting LeBron James and the Lakers on New Year's Eve. That's a big one.
The last time they played was the in-season tournament, and LeBron showed he's the alpha of alphas. They beat the Pelicans and embarrassed them by 44 points. Anthony Davis is going to get booed. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere, and I hope the Pelicans make a much better showing.
LSU, Wisconsin, Monday morning, 11 a.m.
Too many bowl games. It's another throwaway game. But I do want to see Garrett Nussmeier because I think obviously he's the guy next year. And I want to see him play well and how he operates the offense in a full game.
Fletch, there was a story, Dick Clark special not coming because of crime. It ended up not being a true story, but it got some traction. There's a radio guy in Baton Rouge, Kelly to Michigan, and he really didn't even say that directly, and that's gained some traction. Kelly's not going to Michigan, right?
I don't think so. I mean, look, obviously he coached at Central Michigan. He coached at Grand Rapids State. He's got ties to the Midwest. I think he's Michigan's dream candidate because Harbaugh's going to the NFL, but I don't think Kelly's leaving. But I think if you're a Michigan person, you put it out there and you probably take a swing at him, but I don't think he's leaving.
5 seconds. LSU can't improve on what they've done the last 2 years next year, right?
They can't?
Can't. They're not going to do better than 9 wins next year, right?
No, I think they could. I think they could be pretty good. I think Nussmeier's good. I think they could be really good.
All right. I like optimistic Fletch. Fletch, always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Corey.
Happy New Year. Coming right back.
You're on the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the River, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Ella Brennan Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your color so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Help paint, let us do you right. Help paint and supply.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Thunder of jets in an open sky.
I love this cartoon, Bullwinkle and Rocky. It was great. I could watch this stuff today. Funny. And the cartoons within the cartoons. Go, Go, Gophers. And oh, they had so much stuff. Boris and Natasha were great. Yeah, Go, Go, Gophers. Oh, a bunch of cartoons within that Rocky and Bullwinkle. The dog. Was it Simon? And what was the dog? Peabody? Peabody, the dog. Joe, pull up Rocky and Bullwinkle. Cartoons within the cartoon. Rocky and Bullwinkle. Cartoons within the cartoons. We had Peabody. Go, Go, Gophers. That was like that was literally like it was crazy. That was like the Union, like the United States Army basically going out west and messing with Indians, and the Indians getting the better of the U.S. Army. Peabody, Go, Go, Gophers. Let's see. What else was under Rocky and Bullwinkle? There's a few of them. Boy, I'm just going blank, Joe. What else we got? Oh, the fearless leader. Yeah, that was like the German guy. Yeah, he's crazy. Yep. Dudley Do-Right. Wow, that was a good one. Dudley Do-Right. He was what, a ranger, a Canadian ranger, a Mountie. Dudley Do-Right, a Canadian Mountie.
Fractured fairy tales.
Fractured fairy tales were a little demented. You'd like that, Joe. Have you ever checked those out?
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle was a little before me, but Ren and Stimpy was sort of in the Rocky and Bullwinkle vein, and they had the same sort of
Check out
thing,
Fractured Fairy Tales. I would put your kid on this stuff and not this new age stuff, Joe. Anything else in there? Yeah, that sounds like about right. Peabody was great. He was very intelligent. Anyway, Rocky and Bullwinkle, good stuff. 5 o'clock power hour. Really good stuff. 2023 fading out. 2024 coming online. Y2K, man. All the computers are going to crash. Oh, wait, I'm 24 years late on that. And it never happened. Got a good one coming up. In about 10 minutes, we're heading to the Riverbend section of Uptown New Orleans, the Carrollton. It was the former city of Carrollton, now in New Orleans, Uptown neighborhood, the Riverbend. We're going to Dante Street, Brigstsen's restaurant. They've been doing it 40 years almost in about a 100-year-old Creole cottage. See what Frank Brigstsen's got brewing, got cooking on Dante Street, right off River Road, right off Leak Avenue, about 200 yards from the mighty Mississippi. We'll see what Frank's got cooking tonight at his restaurant. You heard Fletcher Mackel last hour. Brigstsen's, you go in there, it's just a great, meal, and you go to Brigstsen's, and you're putting food in your stomach, and it's good. So anyway, Frank Brigstsen, 10 minutes away, talking food. Yeah, I like Frank Brigstsen, and I like Brigstsen's a lot. It's so good. It's priced right. It's super high end. If it were in any city in the world, it would be one of that city's best restaurants. It's that good. I like barbecue shrimp, though, and I like chicken and andouille gumbo, and I like speckled trout with pecans and meuniere. Yeah, I'm a Yaddy New Orleans guy. I like the traditional stuff like that. Kind of the, what a high-end restaurant traditionally would serve in New Orleans. I like that stuff. The barbecue shrimp at Brigstsen's, they're already peeled. But, some folks would go, dude, all the flavors in the, the fat in the head and the tail, especially in the head. Frank Brigstsen cooks all that down, the head and the tail, into the sauce. So it's there. It's genius, to be honest with you. You get the best of both worlds. You get the head and tail flavor without having to peel the shrimp. And that little fritter cake, it just sort of smooths out the whole thing, just because it's a rich sauce. Boy, is it good. And that chicken and andouille gumbo, so good. And when he does seafood, wow. Over crawfish season, I had not one but 2 dishes at Brigstsen's that were a couple of the best crawfish dishes I ever had in my life. Ever in my life. He had a corn and crawfish soup that was so good. All the different little sides, crawfish tails, because they're fresh Louisiana tails. And then the corn and just incredible. Great flavor. One of the best soups I've ever eaten anywhere was this corn and crawfish soup at Brigstsen's. And then the other dish was a crawfish etouffee. And crawfish etouffee, it's like jambalaya. No, exactly. It's like fried shrimp po' boy. One of the most, how would I say, just mass-produced, mediocre. Like, hey, man, we're having jambalaya. I'd be like, probably want to avoid that. Brown rice and sausage cut up in little quarter-like pieces. Looks like a doubloon, and that's jambalaya? I don't think so. And then crawfish etouffee. You can't just put crawfish tails in rice with sort of a tomatoey sauce. And I prefer a brown crawfish etouffee over an orange crawfish etouffee. More of a brown looking roux or look to it. Frank Brigstsen had crawfish etouffee as an appetizer. I went in there and got it as an appetizer one night. A couple of nights later, I got 2 of them to go and ate it as an entree. I was like, I'm just going to have crawfish etouffee for dinner. Called Brigstsen's, give me 2 appetizers of crawfish etouffee. That was during crawfish season. We're not in crawfish season, but Frank Brigstsen will tell us in about 8 minutes what season we are in. And tell us what we maybe should be eating in New Year. In the new year, heading into the new year, all that good stuff. Michael Hecht normally joins us on a Friday. Not today. He'll be back next week. That segment with Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. We're always looking, hungering for that good economic news for the metro area. That segment's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant. Latrim in Elmwood, they're hiring. Latrim on the North Shore off I-12, they're hiring. Dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs available. A job for you, a career for you. The new year's kicking in. Take advantage of it. A new job, a new career. Go to the website and at least check it out. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. And like I said, it's not 2 or 3 job openings. Dozens and dozens of job openings. Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I. T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Frank Brigstsen joining us in just a few minutes. Big weekend in New Orleans. Honestly, you can say whatever you want. Love New Orleans. I'm mad at New Orleans, whatever. When it comes to New Year and celebrating and you want drinks and music and people having fun and midnight and fireworks and all that, I mean, I guess in America, Times Square, New York would be the number one spot. I'm not saying you could argue, dude, Montana sitting on a hill overlooking the stars. I hear you. I'm just saying for people that want the party, Times Square, New York, number one. Their worst places to be. You can take a selfie. I was Times Square, New Year's Eve. I think the Jackson Square, Jack's Brewery, Fleur-de-Lis, Ball Drop, whatever it is, I mean, that's pretty damn good. Sugar Bowl crowd, lots of Texas people. They're great. They're great. I'm trying to mean it. They're great. Texas people are great. Is that believable? They're great. Anyway, lots of Texas people in town. I'm an LSU guy, not a UT guy. I love it, though. Burnt orange, spend the money. Washington folks coming in from Seattle. Sugar Bowl crowd. LeBron James and the Lakers in town. Saints on the road in Tampa. Need to pull off a victory. No, just a lot going on. New Year's fireworks at 11:59 on the river. All that good stuff. No, New Orleans is a great place to be for New Year's Eve, even New Year's Day. Music, food, festivities. Having some pretty darn good weather as well. Just got to bundle up a little bit. That's about all. Hey, the 5 o'clock powwow on this Fantasy Friday brought to you by Rouse's Markets. Over 60 Rouse's. About 1/3, over 20 Rouse's are in Metro New Orleans. There's a Rouse's on your way home from work. There's a Rouse's in your neighborhood. New Year's celebration. They got everything you need at your neighborhood Rouse's. Tastes like home. Rouse's Markets. Corey Johnson with you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Hey, the holiday season might be, fading out, holiday gifts and the like, but engagement season is taking off. This time of year, a lot of guys getting down on one knee, asking that girl to marry them. New Orleanians that know Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. When it comes to engagement rings, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers for your real natural diamond engagement rings. You never have to worry about Ken Friend or any of his staff bringing real natural diamonds out and then putting them next to some man-made lab-created 3-week-old diamonds. And you get to choose and all different carats and price points and all this nonsense. Ken Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, only real natural diamonds, 1 billion years old, the real thing.
They would never sell lab-created 3-week-old man-made diamonds. Go get the real thing for her. Engagement ring with real natural diamonds. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. All price points. Thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. What I love about Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, they have an entire room dedicated to real natural diamond jewelry. Diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, and yes, even real natural diamond engagement rings. Everything in that room under $1,000. Something for everybody. But the best part, everybody gets real natural diamonds. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. That's over in the Riverbend section of New Orleans, the Carrollton neighborhood in Uptown. That's where Brigstsen's restaurant is for 40 years almost, right there on Dante Street. Brigstsen's. Frank Brigstsen joins us live on the program again. Yeah, you right.
Where you at, Corey? TGIF!
Boy, TGIF and final Friday of the year too, Frank.
I know, it's great. It's going to be a wonderful weekend. We got the Sugar Bowl coming up Monday, and it's going to be a lovely time in New Orleans.
It's amazing. You have 2 people coming in tonight. That's it. And tomorrow, no one at Brigstsen's. What's going on?
No, we'll be open tomorrow.
And tonight, and I'm assuming booked up, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty booked up. You can always give Martin a call. I didn't get a chance to look at the reservations, but there might be a little crack there, for 2 top maybe.
Yeah, that's nice. I always tell folks, call before you go somewhere else, even if you don't have a reservation. Could be a cancellation.
There could easily be a cancellation, Corey. We had quite a few this week, families in town together, and they were all sick or something like that. 6 friends of mine were looking forward to their visit, and they had to cancel last minute. So it happens. Don't hesitate to call.
861-7610 is the phone number. Put it in your phone, Brigstsen's Restaurant. 861-7610. 861-7610. What you got cooking tonight, Frank?
Well, I'll tell you what I made for personally today was 4 gallons of filet gumbo with chicken and andouille. My head chef is out sick, so I made the gumbo today, and I got to tell you, it's pretty good.
I bet it is.
Yeah, we also changed our bread pudding. We're now serving sweet potato bread pudding with a pecan praline sauce. And this is something I love to do this time of year. People have sweet potatoes on the mind. And I worked on this recipe for a while before I was happy with it. And so what it really is, for the custard for the bread pudding, I make candied sweet potatoes. And then I puree that mixture and fold it into the custard. So it's diced sweet potatoes that are cooked in a syrup with brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, of course. But I also feature lemon and orange in there. This is still navel orange season here in Louisiana, so the citrus gives it a bright note. When you hear sweet potato, you think it might be heavy or dense tasting or something like that, but it's not at all. The citrus brings it to life and is very light. And a nice pecan praline sauce and whipped cream. Really, really nice seasonal bread pudding. And we're going to run that for the next few weeks.
Wow.
Until Carnival gets a little closer, and then we'll switch to our king cake bread pudding.
But Mardi Gras is 6 weeks from Tuesday.
I know.
Mardi Gras Day is 6 weeks from Tuesday. It's February 13th, early this year. Frank, that means in about 3 weeks or so, 3.5 weeks, we'll start seeing parades sort of regularly. It's crazy.
It's hard to believe. It's going to be such a quick season. So
yep,
get your fill while you can.
No, so true.
This year in particular, when I was doing my Christmas shopping, it's a perfect time for New Orleans people to buy Mardi Gras stuff. Because right after Christmas and New Year's, Mardi Gras is here. So, I bought some T-shirts and caps and stuff like that for my family. over at Flirty Girl. And that's something, if you're stuck for Christmas gifts, is a little past the fact now, but if you're stuck for Christmas gifts for people in your life, think Mardi Gras. There's plenty of merchandise out there, and it comes in handy right away.
Oh, I like the stuff that you got. Yeah, I've been trying to push for like a ban on Chinese imports for Mardi Gras, no plastic. I love those Rex stainless steel tumblers. I was like, we should be throwing like wooden spoons, spatulas, colanders, hot pot pads, as I call them, mittens for hot pots and lids, things that literally, Frank, I'm not saying that because you're here, like things that are useful that we want, that we're going to bring home and use, not fighting for beads that you throw away or they go worse in the gutter or drain or up in your attic. And we're helping some Chinese guy become a millionaire. The local folks selling it, they would just sell the other stuff, the kitchen stuff and all that.
That's right. And I think it's a strong point. And I think there's enough creativity in Mardi Gras and certainly in New Orleans to come up with throws that work. The bead is a great throw, and I love to throw them when I rode, but you're right about that. And I know some crews are featuring, different things.
Yep.
Locally made things in particular. And I think that's a movement that will probably grow.
I hope so.
I do too.
Hey, Frank, if someone is rolling in tonight, we know what they're getting for dessert. How about maybe a salad? Well, we know the soup too. It's going to be the chicken andouille gumbo. Give us a salad and an entree or two.
Yeah, absolutely. We have two salads. We have our house salad, which is really nice, and this is with locally grown lettuces from New Orleans East, baby lettuces, tossed with cherry tomatoes, feta cheese, spiced pecans, croutons, pickled red onions, and a vinaigrette made with steamed cane vinegar. Nicely balanced, got a little touch of honey in there, and a little touch of mustard. Really nice salad, lots of texture, taste, color. And I really love our Caesar salad. The Caesar dressing that we make from scratch is made with garlic, anchovy, lemon, a little touch of red wine vinegar, and olive oil. And we toss that, of course, with romaine lettuce, homemade croutons, grated Parmesan cheese, and then we garnish it with a little more cheese. My favorite part of a Caesar salad, Corey, is the croutons. I love to toss the croutons in the dressing with the lettuce, and that's my favorite thing. That textural crunch is really important to me for Caesar. And we garnish ours with a different kind of anchovy. These are marinated white anchovies. In Spain, they call these macarrones. And it's not like the canned anchovy. It's not strong. It's a steamed, fresh anchovy marinated in a little bit of olive oil. So that kind of reinforces the anchovy theme. And you can certainly get it without them too. But give it a try. It's really unique and really, really good. And the two soups, butternut shrimp bisque and Frank's filet gumbo. I had a couple in the other night. It was two young ladies and first time visitors. What should I get? I happened to be walking by the table and I said, wow, y'all are studying so hard. One of them said, what should we get? I said, if it's your first visit, get the butternut shrimp bisque and the gumbo. And she said, well, I'm going to have the seafood platter. What should my friend get? I said, well, if you get the seafood platter, it's a great choice. And for the other one, I suggested the sauteed veal with oysters, mushrooms, and a 3 red peppercorn sauce. That's a good pairing of entrees, I think. Two very different dishes, but also very, they both showcase what we do here at Brigstsen's. And then the sweet potato bread pudding, pecan pie, of course. The chocolate cake is light and luscious and moist with chocolate sauce and whipped cream. And if you just want a little something to finish with, the lemon icebox creme brulee. I love lemony custardy desserts. It's a great way to finish a meal, and this one that fits the bill.
It's so funny when you say seafood platter, because I know your seafood platter. But I think when folks hear, it's like, Corey's got Frank Brigstsen on, this James Beard award-winning chef, this restaurant that could be in any city in the world. It'd be one of their best restaurants. And did he just say seafood platter? And I think folks are thinking like, I guess it's going to be the best fried seafood platter I've ever had in my life. But it has nothing to do with that at all. And when you were like, what a great choice, it's not like, and I'm not knocking like some meal in Bucktown or something. That's great, but it's not that. Your seafood platter is totally different, and there's absolutely nothing fried on it at all.
Exactly. And, some of my best ideas and recipes and dishes have come out of circumstances. Not a flashbulb light of inspiration, but I have a situation that I have to solve. And way, way, way back, I guess before Katrina or just after, probably just after, we were running our early bird special. We called it early evening special, and it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it was a great deal, 3-course meal, changed every week, etc. And I said, I want to do something on Friday. So what can we do special on Friday? So naturally, I thought of seafood. And, the great tradition we have in New Orleans for seafood platters, which is a winner.
Yep.
People going to climb all over that. But we don't have a fryer. We don't have a fry station. I said, I'm going to make something that showcases several different types of seafood without frying. And so that's what has evolved over the years. And the format kind of stays the same, but we change the components constantly. And so, you always ask me what's in season, what's out of season. Crab meat is out of season. So we've moved away from crab meat. On our seafood platter, we have grilled redfish with a shrimp and lemon basil butter sauce. We have shrimp cornbread with jalapeno smoked corn butter. We have an artichoke baked oyster with an artichoke topping. We have a baked scallop on the half shell with cream spinach and Gruyere cheese, herb scent cream spinach. We have another scallop dish. This is a seared scallop, and these are U10s, the big ones. Seared scallop with stone ground cream cheese grits. And on top of it is a little sauce called mojo piquant, which is like a condiment in Spanish cooking and Los Isleños cooking. And it's a puree of roasted peppers. I use Anaheim's banana peppers and red bell peppers. Those are roasted and pureed into a sauce with a little tomato, lime juice, and seasonings. And it's like a spicy little condiment. And I just put like a teaspoon or two on top of the scallop. And that's our seafood platter, also known as the Shell Beach diet. I know we don't have scallops in Shell Beach, but that's the name that I gave it to many years ago.
Frank Brightsen's with us for a few more minutes. Hey, Frank, a lot of folks check out the segment. They love to dine out. They love you in the restaurant. A lot of folks listen to the segment. They cook. You mentioned how many gallons of chicken and andouille gumbo did you make?
4 gallons.
All right. Now, what would you say the normal, if you were making it at home in that kind of oval pot, what would that be? About a gallon or maybe 2 gallons of gumbo? A gallon, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
4 quarts,
all right,
probably closer to 4.
All right. So if you take that recipe and I just times everything by 4, it is going to be a salty, spicy mess. Tell us how, when you're a chef, when you make these larger portions, like 4 gallons, you almost have to be a little bit of like a scientist, sort of like I think the more appropriate word would be a chemist. You have to understand that you can't just double up portions of the original recipe to make a bigger amount, because it'll be way too salty, way too spicy.
That's very, very true. and each recipe is different. And for my gumbo recipe, you actually can scale it up. This would be scaled up times 4, and nothing changes except the bay leaves. You don't need 20 bay leaves. And the simmering time, that's the real key to it. A bigger batch has to simmer longer. And let this simmer just until opening time. Just before 5 o'clock, we pulled it off. It simmered for about 2 hours.
And what's that do? Just brings all the flavors together?
It reduces the stock.
Yep.
Everything, the andouille, the chicken, and the seasonings marry, and the broth itself gets more intense.
Yep.
It doesn't taste watery. It tastes like gumbo. It's got some real depth.
You've gotten rid of the water.
Yeah. I mean, I use chicken stock, but
whatever the water type liquid base, that's what's
water. Yeah, when you see steam coming out of the pot, that's the water.
Right. That's not flavor loss. That's just getting rid of what you don't need, basically.
Yeah, that's right. That's just you're losing space, but increasing flavor.
Losing space, increasing flavor. That's a good line. Hey, Frank, anything we're missing as we head from 2023 to 2024? What's the schedule for you guys? Y'all back open on Tuesday night next week?
Yeah, regular schedule from here on out. We will be closed Fat Tuesday, of course. And we had a little bit of a dilemma about Ash Wednesday. We usually close Ash Wednesday to give the staff a 4-day weekend. Ash Wednesday happens to be Valentine's Day. I was leaning toward opening, but I got voted down 3-1. So we'll be closed Ash Wednesday too. I'm sorry. So come see us that week if you're looking for Valentine's treats. And we're going to take a week off in the summer, and everything else is basically the same. I just wish everybody a lot of joy and happiness and good health in the coming year, and let's keep this thing rolling.
Frank, always a pleasure, man. What is it, year 39?
Yeah, that's right. On March 6th, Brigstsen's restaurant will celebrate its 38th birthday.
38th. And that's March what, 6th?
March 6th.
Nice. Coming up. Month after Mardi Gras. Yeah. Frank, always a pleasure, man. Happy New Year. Tell everybody the same.
Happy New Year. Love you, Corey. Love you, New Orleans. Have a wonderful weekend and be safe out there.
That's Frank Brigstsen joining us from Brigstsen's in the Riverbend, 861-7610. He said there might be a spot or two tonight or tomorrow night. That's crazy. It's New Year's weekend. That's unheard of. 861-7610. Plus, he said somebody will cancel. It's inevitable. 861-7610. Take that spot. You know what I always say, a Friday or Saturday night, especially when you're going to your regular spot, a place that's in the neighborhood, you know there's a table for you. You know the owner. They're going to take care of you. You go all the time. It's your to-go-to spot. If that's your plan, before you head out the door, call Brigstsen's and just see if there's a cancellation. There might be. And then, come right now. We got a table for you. And then instead of going to the regular spot you go to all the time, your to-go-to spot, you head on over to Brigstsen's and take that cancellation and run with it. 861-7610. So good. Brigstsen's in the Riverbend, 861-7610. Corey Johnson with you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. New Year weekend. Yeah, you right. So much going on. So much going on in the city of New Orleans. Out with 23 and with 24 like anywhere else, but it's New Year's Eve, French Quarter, the Marigny Triangle, Frenchman Street, Uptown, Warehouse District, Treme, Bywater. There's just so many great neighborhoods, so many great spots. St. Claude. I said Frenchman Street, Oak Street. Lots of great spots. I think a lot of folks are going to be all over the place. Texas coming in for the Sugar Bowl, UT. there's going to be tens of thousands of Texas fans flying in, I-10 in from Texas. Houston's a 5-hour drive from New Orleans. 5.5 hours with Grandma Drive. And I mean, it's going to be a lot of folks coming in. And I know UT's in Austin. I just mean Houston, Dallas, 8-hour drive, Austin, San Antonio, 8-hour drive, flying in 45, 50 minutes an hour. A lot of Texas folks, tens of thousands coming to New Orleans. Hey, we're going to check out the Sugar Bowl. New Orleans, New Year's in New Orleans. Great food, music clubs, bars, drinking, having a good time, eating it up. So you got that. You got all the regular New Orleanians. Jackson Square, Jack's Brewery, Fleur-de-Lis drop, fireworks on the river. We do it right. Sunday, the Saints are at the Bucks, must win. Check out Sunday night in New Orleans, New Year's Eve, Smoothie King Center. The Pels hosting LeBron James and the Lakers. Sold out. Now, big New Year's weekend. Typical. That's how we do it in New Orleans. That's how we do it in New Orleans. Speaking of New Orleans owned for over 50 years. Helm Paint and Decorating. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. Lifetime Paint, Benjamin Moore Products. Let them steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. Free 2-hour delivery. Pick your paints online. Call one of the 7 Helm Paint and Decorating locations. They'll have it at your location within 2 hours. Free delivery. Yeah, when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans. And hey, Baton Rouge, Capital City, Red Stick. When you got to paint in Baton Rouge, that's right. 4 Helm Paint and Decorating locations now in Metro Baton Rouge. And just like New Orleans, free 2-hour delivery in Metro Baton Rouge. That means you, Prairieville. That means you, Gonzales. Yeah, even Gonzales. Free 2-hour delivery. 4 Helm Paint and Decorating locations now in Baton Rouge. 7 in Metro New Orleans. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint in Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
You're listening to The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Cotton Bowl winning coach Willie Fritz joining us on the program. Have you ever been part of a game that great?
A lot of things happen in the game. You just don't know the script. You got to adapt and improvise. You just got to keep playing hard the whole time. And our guys did an excellent job of that.
How big is yesterday for the overall future of the program?
You got to have a guy that really have a burning desire to get a quality education and also be a great football player. You know, you got to have focus.
You've always have embraced New Orleans. You've been a great ambassador for the city, for Tulane University.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My wife and I just love it here in New Orleans. And just everybody, the city's just sensational. We just a dime for a person who came up to me after getting me I had tickets in the old Tulane Stadium. And, I've heard that a ton of times. And letting you know, that's good that we're able to make some people happy.
That's Willie Fritz joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Roll wave.
The spirit of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the River, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? Talk about a great New Year's Eve spot. Katie's in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. At least pop in, grab a drink, grab an appetizer, sit down and have a full meal. No, lively neighborhood spot from pizzas to po' boys, all kind of New Orleans specialties, old school, big portions, great for sharing. Check out the Pels, check out the Saints, check out LSU. NBA, NFL, college football, Premier League soccer, lots of flat screen TVs. It's like a sports bar without the sports bar atmosphere and with really good food too. Katie's, as New Orleans as it gets. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you, right? Every day this program on radio, television, YouTube, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. We're on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. Every day it's brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner and Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. The Lamarck Automotive Complex, all brand new, all state-of-the-art, over 15 acres, over $50 million of real money invested in this state-of-the-art facility. Number 1 Ford dealership in the region. Number 1 Lincoln dealership in the state. The legendary Ford truck dealership for over 80 years on Jefferson Highway. Crescent City Ford, all your Ford truck needs, now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 2023 heading out. 2024 coming in. Yeah, you right. And it's New Year's in New Orleans. If that's your thing, like you like to party, you like celebrating, how do you beat New Orleans for New Year's? Seriously. Might be the number one spot on the planet. French Quarter's rolling, so many great restaurants and bars and music clubs, all within 10, 20 blocks. Just walk anywhere, CBD, through the Quarter, into the Marigny. Fantastic. No, just a real easy town. You go to these other places when they're events, you have to stay in a hotel, you may have to drive 20 minutes, 40 minutes. It's like, hey, one event's in Slidell, the next one's in Laplace. It's like an hour commute across the town to the other side of the town. I'm not knocking Laplace or Slidell. I'm just saying that these other towns, things are just spread out. New Orleans, French Quarter, CBD, 35,000 hotel rooms, hundreds of bars, restaurants, music clubs, all within, square mile or two, a few square miles of each other. Unbelievable. The compactness of our city just makes it a great walking city, a great event city. Hey, it is a holiday weekend, New Year's. A lot of folks taking off Monday. River City's Total Maintenance is there for you. If you ever need air conditioning or heat help, just think NOLAAC.com. That's all you need to know. Their phone number's on the website, 841-3300. Talking about River City's Total Maintenance. That's Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys. Air conditioning and heating experts. And they come immediately. I don't know about you, but those are the three things I want when it comes to an air conditioning and heating outfit. I want honest folks that aren't going to rip me off. Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys, incapable of doing any service, repair, replacement that is not absolutely necessary. AC and heating experts. I don't want folks replacing parts trying to figure it out. I want them diagnosing it right away, quickly, fixing it quickly and correctly the first time. And then I want folks that come immediately because my AC's not working or my heat's not working and it's cold outside. I'm uncomfortable. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. That's River City's Total Maintenance. Find them at NOLAAC.com. A Friday afternoon edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. Coming right back. Don't move.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
You know, body language tells you a lot about what a person's thinking. For instance, that means she has an interest in the finer things in life.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
That means she also wants a little fun in her life, but only with the right man.
Corey Johnson.
Now she's pouring a Colt 45, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, you right.
Mind if I join you?
You must have read my mind.
Something like that.
The power of Colt 45. It works every time.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Friday afternoon as we head into the new year. Monday, a new day, a new week, a new month, a new year, January 1st Monday. It's really perfect. Get that December 31st, New Year. You know, New Year's Eve will be on Sunday. And then Monday's New Year's Day. I like that. Start everything anew. A fresh reset. Fausto's Italian Bistro's rolling till 10 p.m. tonight. They'll be open 5 to 10 tomorrow night. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Just wonderful, authentic, New Orleans-inspired Sicilian and Italian. It's tough to beat Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. I've been talking about Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets for years. Check them out. Hey, a lot of folks have been emailing me about Blue Plate. It is on, they have a new label, Blue Plate Mayonnaise. So you may not recognize it right away like you've been recognizing it for your entire life. The old label gone. New look, same legendary taste you love. It's the same Blue Plate Mayonnaise that you've loved forever. Since 1927, 95 years, a New Orleans family tradition. Blue Plate Mayonnaise. Oh boy, here's someone that would lap up some Blue Plate right here. I would gladly lap up some Blue Plate Mayonnaise. I hear you, Blue Boy. Doesn't need to be on a sandwich. You just give me a dollop on a plate and you lap it up. I hear you, buddy. It is good stuff. That's Blue Boy saying, be safe, light fuse, get away. Happy New Year, everyone.
You're on the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.